And now to the crisis rocking the major opposition party, that's the People's Democratic Party. The split between the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, which is Secondus, and members of the National Working Committee, NWC, has deepened. 7 members of the NWC have resigned their positions over alleged unfair treatment and incompetence of the party leadership. The PDP national youth leader, Sunday Ude Okoye, took it further by calling on Secondus to resign. Let's share the story with you.
The People's Democratic Party has seen better days. The party's fortune has declined since it lost its grip to power in the 2015 general election. Now another storm is brewing. 7 members of the National Working Committee have resigned their positions. The aggrieved NWC members' resignation is expected to further pile pressure on the party's national chairman, Uche Secondus, whose approval rating continues to drop, following allegations of mismanaging more than 10 billion naira and his poor leadership skills. While politicians and political parties strategize ahead of the 2023 general election, the PDP may suffer a setback from internal wrangling within a party that once boasted about its intention to cling on to power for 60 years. The hierarchy of the party seems unruffled and have issued a statement calling for calm. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Kola Ologbodinyo, says the National Working Committee of the party has already activated the internal conflict resolution mechanism to ensure an amicable resolution of all issues. The November governorship election is another sore thumb that sticks out for the PDP. The party is yet to get a candidate. The party is also yet to fully bury the hatchet from its last zonal congress. Even reconciliatory moves have not yielded much. The PDP Reconciliation Committee and Strategy, led by former Senate President Bukola Saraki, has crisscrossed the country in a fence-mending move that is expected to strengthen the party and better position it to challenge the All Progressives Congress at the polls. At the last count, 3 governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have jumped ship after the 2019 general election. Other PDP governors say their members are being harassed to join the APC. But on the floor of the National Assembly, more lawmakers seem to be switching political allegiance as the APC continues its aggressive poaching of top shots in the opposition party and depleting their ranks.
Babajide, 7 out of NWC members, and most of these guys are deputy national publicity secretary, deputy auditor, all the deputy deputies resigned and passed like a vote of no confidence on Uche Secondus' leadership Uche Secondus. And this is connected to 2023. This is connected to the season that we're getting in. APC is having their own fair share of this crisis. Now, the People's Democratic Party, it's always, anytime we are moving towards a major election, it's always things like this you hear. But for the PDP, it seems that it's just way too early.
Yes, and it must have come as a shock to many party members that at this time this is happening, because they were hoping for an implosion within the APC.
So the benefits.
Remember that in my interview with Senator Abaribe, he said they should wait until November that we start seeing things happening. He's confident that the center will no longer be able to hold in the APC by that time because of all kinds of crises within the APC. They struggle for the soul of the party. But within their own party, they also have issues. So as you hope for the implosion to materialize in the APC, how about your own party? That is what they need to guide against. They have been saying that the APC has been harassing their governors, forcing governors to defect, this and that. Now, what do you call the defection of NWC members? Is it also APC that harassed those people to defect? So within their own ranks, they have problems that they need to address that they are not addressing. Because a lot of these guys now feel marginalized. They were saying that since 2017 that they've only met with Secondus 3 times.
Really?
And on those 3 occasions, yes, that on those 3 occasions they went to him to say, look, we want to see you. It wasn't as if he called a meeting. So
how does he run his party?
So the deputies, I don't know, maybe he does meetings excluding
he has a kind of kitchen cabinet,
excluding some ESCO members.
Okay.
You know, naturally you can have expanded meetings with everybody present, but they are saying that they've always treated them like appendages, like people who do not matter and all that. So, and the national youth leader was even saying there are up to 10 other members of the NWC who are even more aggrieved than them. So are we going to see more PDP NWC members defect or resign? You know, so because this came suddenly, and you can see from Tambua's statement that even governors were embarrassed that this could happen. We are hearing all kinds of stories that this is meant to put pressure on Secondus and possibly force him to step aside ahead of their convention of the party. The party is going through their own e-registration of party members, you know. But for this to happen at this time, then I think it's terrible. And I do not also see signs that they are trying to reach out to these people to reconsider their resignation, because the statement made by Ike Abonyi,
one month, and they said she can go immediately.
The statement of Ike Abonyi,
okay,
the media advisor to Secondus, is saying anybody who resigns will be replaced the next day, and this party will walk to victory in 2023. There's no going back about it. All those who are looking for interim government few months to the general elections, referring to the convention, are taking us back to Egypt, and nobody is ready to go back to Egypt.
This is like a valid point.
This is not the way to talk to people who are just left. When Ologmodinho was telling us that the internal conflict resolution mechanism is being activated, you don't use fighting words like this when you are trying to resolve with people.
Yes, Ike Abonyi in this statement now, he has said it that, okay, in 3 months, I think the convention is slated for December. So why not wait to either vote out Secondus or because I have this impression that Secondus might try to recontest, why not wait, mobilize against him and instead of registering their displeasure like this?
First of all, I like this crisis as it's happening to the PDP. I've always said it, this party needs a crisis. When you speak with big wigs of the party, you know that many of them believe Secondus is the problem of that party. You speak with many people who matter in the PDP, majority of them believe Secondus is the problem of the
style
party.
or what?
This is a moment of crisis. Is this what is expected of a leader?
He didn't issue this media aid.
No, the media aid works for him.
Yes. Who mandated him to issue the statement?
Please.
If you work for me and you issue this kind of statement without
the authority,
I'll fire you.
Yeah. So is this the kind of, you know, so many people don't believe he has the enough charisma, what it takes to lead. When you look at PDP since 3, 4, 5 years, you realize that the party has failed woefully in its responsibility as an opposition party. Give it to the APC. They may have their own problems here and there now, but when they were in the opposition, you know what was happening. People, every day, every issue, there's an issue, you know now. But the PDP, especially under Secondus, is a terrible opposition party. It's totally, you know, failing. It has failed totally. So, and I believe that if Secondus, you know, is somebody who knows how to gauge the mood of his followers or party members, he will know the right thing to do. Not really talking down on people who are aggrieved.
Ali, what do you make of the crisis within rocking the People's Democratic Party? 7 members of the NWC resigning at once.
Well, it's not surprising that there is this development. If you listen to the charge thrown in the direction of the leadership of the party by some of those elements that resigned, you expect that it's just a matter of time before we have this, we get to this stage. Because when you have a leader that is not a team player, some of the deputies clearly, they accuse the leader of the party, Secondus, of not being a team leader, not communicating with them, doing solo runs, doing his thing the way he perhaps likes. And then the statement by his media aide, which is clashing with the position of the public secretary. And incidentally, both of them are seasoned journalists. And you can see clearly they are not communicating between the public secretary and the media aide to the chairman of the party. So with this clashing statement, then it tells you the kind of crisis in the PDP, that the umbrella really is not sheltered in all and sundry in the party. And probably this is merely a tip of the iceberg of the crisis rocking the party. You see, PDP from its inception has, especially with Obasanjo as president, the party has been owned by governors. The governors of PDP actually own the party. And with federal might, it was able to resolve whatever crisis it had had in the past. Remember the famous conflict that was resolved, I'm trying to recall, when they said everything was a party, was a family affair.
Family affair.
Yes. But with federal might gone, the PDP had behaved more like a headless chicken. You understand? Why? Because the national leadership has not demonstrated any ability to resolve internal crisis. And the PDP is being paid back in its own coin. While it held sway, it helped in precipitating crisis in opposition parties, especially the ANPP. Well, before then the APP, then later ANPP. It used to plant people more, so to say. That one is in the public domain. How some people in the opposition party, when PDP was holding sway, were actually working for the PDP. So now, if you like, well, this is a stretch. PDP is payback time now for PDP. And unfortunately, the Secondus has not given the kind of leadership. Internally, you can see from the grievances expressed by those who resign.
Okay.
That is not carrying them along.
We have to move on. We don't have more time.